Chosen ones, listen to me right now. There's something happening that most people will never understand. Something moving through your life that defies every logical explanation, every natural law, every prediction they made about where you'd end up. See, they had you written off, dead and buried in their minds. They threw dirt on your name and walked away thinking the funeral was finished. But here's the thing about a chosen one. The grave couldn't hold you, the fire couldn't burn you, the flood couldn't drown you, and now they're standing there with their jaws on the floor because you walked out of something that should have destroyed any normal person. This message right here is confirmation of what your spirit has been whispering for months. There's a reason why everything they threw at you bounced right off. A reason why every trap they set somehow missed. Picture this. Somebody dug a 10-foot hole in your path and covered it with leaves. They sat back waiting to watch you fall. But at the last second, something told you to step left. Something guided your feet in a different direction. And now they're the ones sitting at the bottom of that hole, wondering what kind of magic you possess. Stay with me. I'm about to show you exactly why they can't figure you out. Let's get into what's really been going on behind the scenes. Because there's somebody in your life, maybe more than one person, and their feathers are completely ruffled right now. I'm talking about pacing the floor, frustrated, losing sleep, scrolling through your posts at 3 a.m., trying to figure out what went wrong with their plan. This person has been working overtime when it comes to you, and I mean overtime like it's their full-time job, their only assignment. It's like they clocked in to destroy you, and they refuse to clock out. The dedication is almost impressive if it wasn't so pathetic. They're the first one watching every move you make, the first one analyzing your words, the first one looking for a crack in your armor, and they've been putting in serious work to see you fall, digging ditches, setting traps, spreading lies, creating situations designed to break your spirit. This ain't casual hate, this is strategic warfare, and here's where it gets interesting. Every single plan they've executed has failed. Every single one. The job you were supposed to lose, still standing. The relationship they tried to sabotage, stronger than ever. The reputation they tried to ruin. Your name rings out cleaner than before. They went to sleep thinking they finally got you, woke up to find out you leveled up instead. Do you understand why they're losing their minds right now? Think about this for a moment. The amount of energy they've spent trying to bring you down could have built empires, could have transformed their own lives, could have created something beautiful instead of destroying something sacred. But they chose you as their target. They made hating you their hobby, their obsession, their reason for waking up every morning. And all that investment, all that time and effort and scheming, it produced absolutely nothing, zero return, complete failure across the board. Meanwhile, you weren't even focused on them. Half the time you didn't even know what they were doing behind your back. You were too busy healing, growing, building, evolving into the person you were always meant to become. The irony is almost poetic. They exhausted themselves trying to stop someone who wasn't even paying attention to them, someone who was so locked into their own journey that the attacks barely registered. This is what happens when you understand your assignment, when you know who you are and whose you are. Distractions can't distract you, haters can't hate you into submission, plots and plans fall apart because the universe itself is conspiring on your behalf. Let me paint this picture a little clearer for you, because I need you to fully grasp the level of protection operating in your life. There's a phenomenon in nature called the salamander. This creature is legendary in ancient traditions. They believed salamanders could walk through fire and come out completely unharmed, not just survive the flames but emerge from them, purified, refined, made even more powerful than before. This is exactly how these people see you. They've thrown fire at your life over and over again. Career fire, relationship fire, financial fire, health fire, the kind of flames that consume regular people and leave nothing but ashes. But every time they look up expecting to see your remains, you come walking through the smoke like nothing happened. That's not normal, that's supernatural, and it's driving them absolutely insane. Here's the thing about salamanders that most people don't know. They can regenerate entire limbs, cut off a leg, and watch it grow back. This is the energy you carry. They've tried to amputate pieces of your life, your confidence, your joy, your faith, your peace, your purpose. Every time they cut something off, they watched it grow back even stronger. Now they're sitting there asking themselves a question that has no logical answer. What are you? Because whatever you are, it ain't human in the way they understand human. Something else is at work here, something divine, something ancient, something they were never equipped to fight against. You know what really bothers them? It's not just that you survived, it's how you survived, with grace, with dignity, with your head held high and your spirit intact. They expected you to come out bitter, angry, hardened by the experience. They wanted to see you become a shell of yourself, a broken version walking around with wounds on display. Instead, you emerged whole, healed, more compassionate than before, more loving than before, more at peace than before. That wasn't supposed to happen. In their playbook, trauma creates trauma, pain creates pain, hurt people. But you broke the cycle. You alchemized that pain into power, turned those wounds into wisdom, transformed that suffering into service, and now you carry yourself with an authority they can't explain, a confidence that doesn't come from arrogance, but from knowing exactly what you've overcome. They look at you and see a walking miracle, a living testimony, proof that what should destroy a person can actually be the very thing that elevates them. This is the salamander energy in full effect. This is why they can't stop staring, can't stop wondering, can't stop asking how. I need to acknowledge something real with you right now. The fact that you're still standing doesn't mean the journey has been easy. Don't let anybody minimize what you've walked through. The nights were real, the tears were real, the tears were real. The moments when you didn't know if you could take another breath were real. There were seasons when it felt like the whole world was pressing down on your chest, when getting out of bed took more strength than running a marathon, when people who were supposed to love you became the main ones twisting the knife. I'm not here to tell you it was nothing. It was everything. It was hell on earth. It was pain that words can't describe. You went through things you've never told a single soul about, carried weight that would have crushed someone with a weaker spine. There were moments when giving up seemed like the only reasonable option, when the enemy's voice was so loud it drowned out every other sound, when hope felt like a foreign concept that belonged to other people. You questioned your faith. You questioned your purpose. You questioned whether there was even a point to continuing this fight. All of that was real. And all of that makes your victory even more remarkable, because you didn't win from a position of comfort. You won from the depths of the valley, the darkest pit, the lowest low a human being can experience, and still, you rose. There were days when the sun felt offensive, when other people's happiness seemed like a personal insult to your pain, when smiling required more effort than you had available. The depression was thick enough to touch. The anxiety was constant enough to become background noise. Every morning felt like climbing a mountain just to reach baseline human function. And some days you didn't even make it that far. Some days you just existed, breathed in and breathed out, and called that enough. And it was enough, because survival in the middle of a war zone is its own kind of victory. The fact that you're here right now means you won battles you don't even remember fighting. Your subconscious was doing combat, while your conscious mind was just trying to hold on. Angels were dispatched to situations you never even knew were happening. Disasters were diverted before they reached your doorstep. Attacks were neutralized in the spiritual realm before they could manifest in the physical. You have no idea how protected you've been, how many times the enemy thought he had a clear shot and something intervened at the last millisecond. Your survival isn't luck, it's orchestration, divine intervention on a level you can't even comprehend. Let's talk about who these people actually are, because the enemy likes to stay hidden, likes to operate from the shadows, likes to smile in your face while plotting your demise behind your back. But Spirit doesn't let things stay hidden forever, and what's being revealed right now is that some of these attacks have been coming from places that shocked you. Family members who should have been your biggest supporters became your biggest obstacles. People who shared your blood actively worked to contaminate your blessing. They called in false reports, made up lies, created narratives about you that were complete fiction, all because they couldn't handle watching you succeed while they stayed stuck. Miserable people need company, and when you refused to join them in their misery, they decided to drag you there by force. Here's the thing, though. They underestimated who they were dealing with. They thought you were just a regular person doing regular things. They didn't realize the backing you have, the protection covering you, the angels assigned specifically to your case. They filed reports thinking they'd take something from you. Watch what happened. Those reports got closed out, marked unsubstantiated, and not only did you not lose anything, but resources and provisions started flowing into your life from unexpected places. The very attack meant to destroy you became the vehicle for your blessing. Let that sink in for a minute. The weapon they formed didn't just not prosper. It got turned around and used for your benefit. And it wasn't just family. Let's be completely honest about this. Some of those attacks came from people who called themselves friends, people you confided in during vulnerable moments, people who knew your weaknesses because you trusted them enough to show them. They took that sacred information and weaponized it against you, used your own words, your own fears, your own insecurities as ammunition. The betrayal cut deeper because it came from people you actually loved, people you would have defended, people you would have gone to war for if they needed you, and they repaid that loyalty with treachery. The hardest part wasn't even the attack itself. It was reconciling who you thought they were with who they actually showed themselves to be. That cognitive dissonance, that heartbreak of realizing someone you trusted was never really on your team. But even that revelation was a gift, because now you know, now you see clearly, now you can move forward without dead weight disguised as friendship. The pruning was painful, but necessary, and the new connections coming into your life, they'll be worth every loss you experienced. This is where we need to talk about something called divine reversal, because there's a pattern operating in your life that goes beyond coincidence or luck. Every attack that's been launched against you has somehow been flipped into favor. Every curse has been converted to blessing. Every obstacle has transformed into opportunity, and it's been happening so consistently that even you have started to notice something supernatural is going on. Think back over the last year, the last few years. How many situations were supposed to end you? How many circumstances were designed for your destruction? Now count how many of those things actually worked out in your favor. The math doesn't make sense from a natural perspective. The odds were stacked against you so heavily that even Vegas would have called it a done deal. But here you are, not just surviving, thriving, not just getting by, excelling, not just existing, expanding into new territory you never imagined possible. And the ones who orchestrated all these attacks, they're watching from the sidelines with confusion written all over their faces, because in their world, that's not how the story was supposed to end. In their mind, you were supposed to be destroyed by now, finished, forgotten, another casualty of their hatred. Instead, they got front row seats to the greatest comeback they've ever witnessed. Here's where the divine reversal gets even more specific. Remember that situation that almost took you under financially? The one where it looked like you were going to lose everything? Look at where you stand now. Not only did you recover, but your financial situation is better than it was before the attack. That relationship they tried to destroy, the one they whispered lies about, it's stronger now, more solid, more authentic, built on a foundation that their interference couldn't crack. Your health, the stress they caused, could have manifested as disease, could have broken down your body from the inside out, but instead you became more conscious about wellness, started taking better care of yourself, made changes you'd been putting off for years. Their attack became your wake-up call. This is how the divine operates, taking what the enemy meant for evil and flipping it for your good, using the very weapons formed against you as tools for your elevation. It's almost like the harder they push against you, the higher you rise, like they're unknowingly fueling your ascension every time they try to bring you down. Let me tell you why they really can't stop you. And this is something your spirit already knows, but your mind needs to fully comprehend. The moment you were born, you were marked, chosen, set apart for a purpose that goes far beyond what you can see right now. The same source that created galaxies and hung stars in space looked at you and said, "This one is mine." That mark has never left you. It's encoded in your DNA, woven into your destiny, stamped on your soul in permanent ink. And every force that has tried to destroy you has been fighting against something they never had the power to overcome. This is why their plans keep failing, why their traps keep missing, why their strategies crumble like sand castles against the tide. They're not just fighting you, they're fighting the one who created you, the one who called you, the one who already wrote the ending of your story before the beginning even started. And in that ending, you win. They lose. Period. No negotiations, no exceptions, no alternate outcomes. The victory was secured before the battle even began. All of this chaos you've been walking through, just the process of getting you to where you were always destined to be. The struggle was never meant to stop you. It was meant to shape you, mold you, prepare you for the weight of the glory that's coming your way. Consider for a moment the audacity of their position. These people looked at someone chosen by the Most High and said, "I can take them down." They surveyed someone covered by divine protection and thought, "My little schemes will work." The arrogance is almost laughable when you understand the spiritual dynamics at play. It's like watching an ant try to stop a freight train, like watching a candle try to extinguish the sun. The power differential is so vast that the outcome was never actually in question, but they couldn't see it, blinded by jealousy, consumed by hatred, operating from such a low frequency that they couldn't perceive the forces arrayed against them. Every move they made was being monitored. Every plan they hatched was being countered before it could manifest. They thought they were being clever, thought they were operating in secret, didn't realize that nothing is hidden from the eyes that watch over you. Nothing escapes the attention of your protectors, and every single scheme got reported back to headquarters, got neutralized, got reversed. They never had a chance. They just didn't know it yet. Now we need to address this question that everybody keeps asking, because it's on people's minds and lips, and they can't seem to figure out the answer. How did you make it out of the valley of death? How did you survive what should have killed you? How did you come back from situations that have destroyed stronger people? The question haunts your enemies, intrigues your allies, and sometimes even puzzles you. Because if you're being honest, there were moments when you didn't know if you'd make it either. When the weight was so heavy and the night was so dark that survival seemed impossible. Yet here you stand, whole, intact, functional, more than functional, flourishing. The answer to their question is simpler than they want to believe and more profound than they can comprehend. You made it through because you were never alone in that valley. When everybody abandoned you, when friends became strangers, when family turned their backs, there was a presence walking with you in the darkness, a voice that whispered, "Keep going," when every logical reason said to quit, a strength that wasn't your own carrying you through moments when your own strength had completely run out. Some people call it God, some call it the universe, some call it ancestors or angels or higher consciousness. Whatever name you put on it, that presence is real, and it has been your secret weapon through every battle you faced. That presence showed up in ways you might not have recognized at the time. It was the random stranger who said exactly what you needed to hear on your worst day, the unexpected check that arrived when you were down to your last dollar, the phone call that came through right when you were about to make a terrible decision, the door that closed so hard it forced you onto a better path, the delay that frustrated you but actually saved you from disaster. Looking back, you can trace the fingerprints of the divine all over your journey. Moments that seemed like coincidence were actually coordination. Situations that felt like bad luck were actually divine redirection. The universe has been conspiring on your behalf this entire time, working behind the scenes to ensure your survival, positioning people and circumstances to catch you when you fell. You weren't stumbling through the darkness alone. You were being guided, carried when necessary, protected at every turn. And now that you're coming out of that valley, you can finally see just how orchestrated your rescue truly was. Here's what's happening right now in this season of your life. The destruction phase is ending. The tower that needed to fall has fallen. The old structures that were never meant to hold you have crumbled away. And something new is rising from the rubble, something beautiful, something powerful, something that makes everything you lost look like nothing compared to what you're gaining. The enemy thought that collapse was your end. They celebrated when they saw your life in ruins. They popped champagne and congratulated themselves on finally taking you down. But what they didn't understand is that chosen ones are built different. For you, endings are just new beginnings. Destruction is just making room for creation. Death is just the prerequisite for resurrection. This is the part of your story where the transformation becomes visible to everyone watching, where the caterpillar that went into the cocoon emerges as something completely unrecognizable, where the seed that was buried in dark soil breaks through the surface as something magnificent. People are going to look at you and literally not recognize who you've become. The struggle has changed you, refined you, burned away everything that wasn't essential until all that remained was pure, uncut purpose. And now that purpose is ready to be unleashed on the world. The timing of this emergence is not accidental. There's a reason why this breakthrough is happening now. Not last year, not 5 years ago. Right now, in this specific moment in history, the world is ready for what you carry. The solutions you hold are needed for problems that are reaching critical mass. The gifts you've developed through your struggle are precisely calibrated for the situations you're about to encounter. You've been in training, boot camp, preparation mode, and now basic training is complete. Now the real mission begins. Everything you learned in that valley, every skill you developed, just trying to survive, those are the exact tools required for your assignment. The resilience, the discernment, the ability to thrive in hostile environments, the capacity to maintain peace in chaos. These aren't random personality traits. They're qualifications, prerequisites for the position you're about to step into. The struggle wasn't random suffering. It was education, a masterclass in becoming who you needed to be for what's coming next. I want you to understand something about the dark nights you survived, the hermit seasons where it was just you and your pain and your prayers. Those times weren't punishment. They weren't random suffering. They were preparation, cultivation of something rare and valuable that can only be developed in solitude and darkness. In those moments when you felt most alone, the most important work was being done. Your faith was being tested and strengthened. Your character was being forged in fire. Your resilience was being built, layer by layer, until it became unbreakable. Those tears you cried, each one watering seeds that are now ready to bloom. Those prayers you whispered at 3 a.m. when sleep wouldn't come, they were being stored up, and now the answers are flooding in like a dam broke open. The wisdom you gained from that suffering cannot be taught in any school or learned from any book. It can only be earned through experience, and that wisdom is worth more than gold, more than diamonds, more than any treasure this world has to offer, because it's the kind of wisdom that allows you to walk into any storm and know with absolute certainty that you will make it to the other side. You've already proven you can survive the worst. Nothing that comes after will ever be able to break you. In those dark nights, something else was happening too. A sifting, a separation, a clarification of what truly matters and what was just noise. Before the struggle, you might have been distracted by things that didn't serve your purpose, people who weren't meant for your journey, goals that weren't aligned with your calling. The valley stripped all of that away, revealed what was real and what was illusion, showed you who would ride with you through anything and who was only there for the good times. That kind of clarity is priceless. It would have taken decades to learn those lessons under normal circumstances. The struggle compressed them into months. Intensive, brutal, but effective. Now you move with precision. Waste no time on people or situations that don't deserve your energy. Guard your peace like the treasure it is. Invest only in what yields real returns. This strategic approach to life didn't come from a book. It came from the battlefield, from learning the hard way what happens when you give your energy to the wrong places. The tuition was expensive, but the education was worth every penny. Let me tell you what they see when they look at you now, and it's driving them crazy because it confirms their deepest fears. They see someone who was supposed to be destroyed walking in victory. They see someone who lost everything somehow gaining more than they ever had before. They see abundance where there should be lack, joy where there should be grief, peace where there should be anxiety, strength where there should be weakness. Every single outcome they expected has been reversed. It's like watching someone win the lottery after going bankrupt, like watching a dead tree suddenly burst into bloom in the middle of winter, like watching someone they buried crawl out of the grave and start dancing on top of it. The laws of their reality don't apply to you. The rules they thought governed the universe have exceptions, and you are one of them. This is why they keep asking how, because if they can figure out your secret, maybe they can stop it. Maybe they can find a weakness to exploit. Maybe they can finally win one battle against you. But they'll never find that answer, because your secret isn't a strategy or a technique or a trick. Your secret is favor. Divine, unearnable, unexplainable favor that rests on your life like a crown nobody can see but everyone feels, and there is nothing they can do to take it from you. That favor has a visible effect that they can't deny. It shows up in how opportunities seem to find you without effort, how the right people appear at exactly the right moments, how problems that should take months to solve somehow resolve themselves in days, how your presence in a room shifts the entire energy. They've watched it happen over and over again, tried to replicate it in their own lives, failed every single time, because favor can't be copied or stolen or manufactured. It's given, assigned, bestowed upon those who have been chosen for specific purposes. And once that favor is on you, it doesn't leave. It follows you into every situation, goes before you to prepare the way, stays behind to guard against attacks. This is what they're really seeing when they look at you and can't figure it out. They're seeing the visible evidence of invisible backing, the natural manifestation of supernatural support. And there's nothing in their arsenal that can compete with that level of protection. You need to understand something about how they experience your victories. Every time you win, it doesn't just feel like your success to them, it feels like their failure. Personal, painful, a reminder of their own inability to achieve what you seem to do effortlessly. This is why they can't just be happy for you, why they can't just move on and focus on their own lives. Your existence is a constant irritation, a mirror reflecting back everything they're not, everything they failed to become, every dream they gave up on. When they see you thriving, they see their own potential that they never activated, their own gifts that they never developed, their own calling that they never answered. You represent the road not taken, the life they could have had if they'd made different choices. And rather than use you as inspiration to change their own path, they've chosen to resent you for walking yours. That's their burden to carry, not yours. Let them choke on their jealousy while you feast on your blessings. Now I want to speak directly to what's coming next, because this is where the story gets really good. Everything you've walked through has been preparing you for a season of breakthrough that's going to make your past blessings look like loose change. The opportunities that are lining up in the spirit realm are about to manifest in the physical. Doors that have been stuck shut are about to swing wide open. Resources that have been blocked are about to start flowing like a river. Relationships that align with your destiny are about to appear out of nowhere. This isn't just wishful thinking or empty positive talk. This is the harvest from seeds you've been planting in tears, the reward for faithfulness in the storm, the payoff for every prayer, every sacrifice, every moment you chose to keep going when quitting would have been so much easier. The same consistency you showed in the valley, it's about to be rewarded openly, publicly, in ways that make everyone understand you were never the underdog. You were the chosen one disguised as the underdog, waiting for your moment to be revealed. That moment is now, right now, in this season, in this chapter of your life. The wait is over, the preparation phase is complete, and the execution of your destiny is about to begin in full force. The scale of what's coming will shock even you. Blessings you stopped asking for because you thought they were impossible. Dreams you buried because they seemed too big. Goals you dismissed as unrealistic. All of it is coming back to life, being resurrected, pulled out of the graves where you buried them and given new breath. The universe has a memory. It doesn't forget what you desired in your heart of hearts. Even the wishes you were afraid to speak out loud, they were heard, recorded, stored up for this moment of release. Get ready to receive things you forgot you wanted, opportunities that connect to prayers from years ago, breakthroughs that answer questions you stopped asking. The harvest isn't just for what you've planted recently, it's for every seed you've ever put in the ground, going back decades in some cases, every act of faith, every moment of generosity, every time you chose love over hate, kindness over cruelty, hope over despair. All of it is coming back to you, multiplied. The speed of this next season will require adjustment. You've been in survival mode for so long that abundance might feel uncomfortable at first, suspicious even, like something must be wrong because things are going too well. This is normal. Your nervous system has been calibrated for struggle. It takes time to recalibrate for blessing. Don't let that discomfort stop you from receiving. Don't self-sabotage because prosperity feels unfamiliar. You deserve every good thing coming your way. You've earned it through trials most people couldn't even imagine. The discomfort will pass. Your system will adjust, and eventually abundance will feel like home, because it is home. It's where you were always meant to live. The struggle was the detour. The blessing is the destination, and you're finally arriving. Some of you need to hear this specifically. Stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Stop bracing for impact every time something good happens. Stop assuming that blessing is just the setup for bigger disappointment. That's old programming from old seasons. Those patterns don't apply anymore. This new chapter has different rules, different expectations, different outcomes. The God who brought you through the fire isn't going to abandon you in the promised land. The same protection that covered you in battle will cover you in victory. You don't have to stay in fight mode forever. It's safe to rest now, safe to celebrate, safe to enjoy the fruits of your labor without constantly looking over your shoulder. The war is over. At least this battle is. And you won. Let yourself feel that. Let yourself absorb the magnitude of what you've accomplished. Let yourself be proud, not arrogant. Proud. There's a difference, and you've earned every ounce of it. Now let's bring this full circle to where we started. There's somebody out there who has been working overtime to see you fail. They've dug trenches and set traps and launched attacks from every possible angle. They've lost sleep plotting your destruction. And here's what they're finally realizing that fills them with absolute dread. It didn't work. None of it worked. Every ditch they dug, you walked around. Every trap they set, you bypassed. Every attack they launched, it somehow ended up blessing you instead of breaking you. They threw fire at you and watched you walk through the flames untouched. They cut off pieces of your life and watched them regenerate stronger than before. They put you through situations that should have killed you and watched you emerge more alive than ever. Now they're standing there asking the only question left. How? How did you survive what should have destroyed you? How did you recover from what should have finished you? How did you win when every odd was stacked against you? That question will haunt them for the rest of their lives. They'll replay every strategy, analyze every move, try to figure out where they went wrong, and they'll never find the answer because the answer exists outside their frame of reference. They're looking for a logical explanation for something that operates on spiritual laws, trying to use natural reasoning to solve a supernatural equation. It can't be done. The variables don't match. The formula doesn't compute. And so they'll keep scratching their heads, keep losing sleep, keep watching you succeed and wondering how it's possible. Meanwhile, you'll keep ascending, keep winning, keep proving that chosen ones operate by different rules. Rules that guarantee victory for those who stay faithful. Rules that ensure protection for those who trust the process. Rules that promise breakthrough for those who refuse to quit. Those rules have been activated in your life, and they will remain active until your purpose is complete. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in, so let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Here's something else they don't understand and never will. The attacks actually helped you. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but every scheme they launched forced you to grow in ways you wouldn't have otherwise, made you stronger than you would have become without opposition, developed muscles you didn't know you had, revealed resources you didn't know you could access. In a strange twist of divine irony, they became the trainers you never hired, the resistance that built your strength, the obstacles that increased your agility. Without their attacks, you might still be operating at level 1, comfortable but weak, safe but stagnant. Their hatred pushed you to heights you never would have reached on your own. So in a very real sense, you should thank them. Their evil intentions produced righteous results. Their destructive impulses created constructive outcomes. They meant it for evil, but it was used for good. Classic divine reversal, and they'll never understand how their best weapon against you became the very thing that elevated you. The ripple effects of your victory extend further than you realize. You're not just winning for yourself, you're winning for everyone watching, everyone who has been secretly rooting for you, everyone who needed to see proof that the underdog can triumph, that the chosen can overcome, that faith actually works when tested by fire. Your testimony is powerful, not just in words but in existence. You are a living, breathing example of what's possible when divine backing meets human persistence. People are drawing strength from your story, finding courage in your comeback, believing in their own potential because they watched you actualize yours. This is part of your purpose, to be a beacon, a lighthouse, a reference point for others navigating similar storms. Your victory isn't just personal, it's generational, communal, collective. You're breaking cycles just by existing, opening doors just by walking through them, creating paths just by refusing to accept dead ends. And here's your answer to all the wondering, the response to everyone asking how. God, the Most High, the creator of everything seen and unseen, the one who marked you as chosen before you, took your first breath. That's how you made it out of the valley of death. That's why your recovery looks unhuman, because it is. It was never your strength alone, never your strategy alone, never your willpower alone. It was divine intervention operating through a human vessel that refused to quit. You partnered with the supernatural, and together you did the impossible. The credit belongs to both. Your faith and God's faithfulness, your persistence and divine provision, your willingness to keep going, and heaven's willingness to keep sending reinforcements. It was a collaboration, a partnership, a covenant relationship that was tested and proven through fire. From this day forward, walk with a different understanding of who you are, not just someone who survived, a victor, an overcomer, a living testimony to the power of divine protection. The valley is behind you, the memories remain, but the residence has ended. No more dwelling in that place of darkness, no more identifying with that season of struggle. That was a chapter, not the whole book. And the next chapter, it's unlike anything you've experienced before, brighter, better, more abundant, more joyful, more aligned with who you were created to be. Step into it boldly, confidently, without apology or hesitation. You earned this. Every tear, every prayer, every sleepless night, all of it purchased your seat at this table. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can deny your place. The receipt is paid in full, signed in heaven, notarized by angels, and sealed with favor that no weapon formed against you can penetrate. So rise, walk in it, claim it, own it. Let them watch and wonder while you flourish and thrive. This is your season, your moment, your time to shine. The valley of death couldn't hold you. The fire couldn't burn you. The flood couldn't drown you. The traps couldn't catch you. The enemies couldn't stop you. And now you stand as living proof that chosen ones don't just survive. We dominate. We overcome. We rise. We win. Not sometimes. Not occasionally. Always. Forever. In every season. Against every opposition. Until purpose is fulfilled and destiny is complete. This is who you are. This is what you're made of. This is why they can't figure you out. And this is only the beginning of what's possible when heaven backs a human being who refuses to quit. Now go walk in it. The world is waiting to see what you'll do next. And based on everything you've already overcome, it's going to be legendary.